He had everything: wealth, power, respect, and he destroyed every single person who helped him get there. But the universe was watching, and what happened next changed his life forever. This is not just a story. This is a warning that the Buddha gave us more than 2,500 years ago, and humanity still refuses to listen. Long ago, in a small town, there lived two young men. They grew up together. Same dirt roads, same broken sandals, same empty stomachs. But they had one thing no poverty could steal: loyalty. Kyle was kind, generous, a man whose smile could soften the heart of a stranger. Marcus was ambitious, sharp, a man who could see opportunity where others saw only stone. Together, they built a small trading business from nothing. Kyle gave the trust, Marcus gave the strategy, and slowly they grew rich. But wealth does something to certain souls. It doesn't reveal who they are. It removes the mask and shows you who they always were. When Marcus became powerful, he no longer saw Kyle as a partner. He saw him as a threat. And so quietly, carefully, and without mercy, Marcus began to destroy the very man who built him. First, Marcus spread rumors, whispers in the marketplace, lies wrapped in half-truths, the most dangerous kind. Kyle cheated our partners. Kyle stole money from the business. Kyle cannot be trusted. Within months, Kyle's reputation was ruined. Partners abandoned him. Customers disappeared. Friends, people he had fed, clothed, and protected, turned their backs. Kyle lost his business, then his home, then his family. He sat alone in the ruins of everything he had built, and he could not understand why. He had done nothing wrong. He had harmed no one. He had only loved, trusted, and given. And this was his reward? He screamed at the sky. He wept into the earth. He asked the only question that every suffering human has ever asked: why? Why is this happening to me? And for a long time there was no answer. But somewhere across the river, Marcus was laughing. He had won, or so he believed. 3 years passed. Marcus's empire grew larger. His name was known across the entire region. He had servants. He had power. He had everything except peace. At night, he could not sleep. The face of Kale appeared behind his eyes every time darkness fell. He drank more wine to silence the voice inside. He surrounded himself with people who praised him because the silence terrified him. And then the first crack appeared. A trusted merchant discovered Marcus had been cheating trade agreements for years. He reported it to the authorities. Then a second crack. A worker who had witnessed Marcus fake documents came forward. Then a third. The partners Marcus had framed, they had kept records. Within 1 season, everything Marcus had built on lies began to collapse. The authorities summoned him. His partners withdrew. His workers fled. And on the day Marcus stood before everyone, exposed and ashamed, he looked across the room, and there was Kyle. Not laughing, not celebrating, simply watching with sadness in his eyes. Marcus expected anger. He expected revenge. He deserved it. But Kyle said nothing. He only turned and walked away. That silence was heavier than any punishment the world could give. Marcus, stripped of power and fortune, wandered alone. One day, exhausted, humiliated, and truly broken, he came to the edge of a river. He sat down in the mud, and for the first time in his life, he did not think about money. He did not think about power. He did not think about what others thought of him. He simply sat, and in that stillness a voice reached him. Not a voice from the sky, not a miracle from above, but his own voice, the voice he had silenced for years. You knew. You always knew what you were doing was wrong. Every step, every lie, every betrayal. You chose it anyway. And now you are sitting in the very mud you created for another. And in that moment, Marcus did not blame the universe. He did not blame the people around him. He did not blame the people who exposed him. For the first time, he looked inward, and what he found there was both terrifying and the beginning of everything. The Buddha once said that your worst enemy cannot harm you as much as your own unguarded thoughts. Marcus's enemy was never Kale. Marcus's enemy was always himself, his greed, his fear, his need to destroy what reminded him of his own smallness. This is the law of karma, and it is not punishment from above. It is not fate decided by gods. Karma is simply this: every action leaves a mark on the universe. Every word you speak, every choice you make, every intention behind your deeds, it sends a ripple forward through time. You cannot run from that ripple. You cannot buy your way past it. You cannot destroy enough people to escape it, because the ripple always returns to where it began. The Buddha also said, 3 things cannot be long hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth. Marcus had hidden the truth for 3 years. But truth does not die, it waits. It waits with infinite patience, and when it rises, nothing can stop it. But here is the most important teaching of all the teaching that most people miss. Karma is not only about punishment, karma is also about liberation. Because the moment Marcus sat in that mud and looked inward, the moment he stopped running from his own truth, he began to heal. Not immediately, not easily, but truly. And that is the path the Buddha showed us. Not a path free from suffering, but a path through it towards something the outside world can never give you: peace. I speak to you now not as a storyteller, but as someone who has witnessed every human heart that has ever wept in confusion. You may be Kale right now, betrayed, abandoned, wondering why you are suffering when you have done nothing wrong. Your suffering is not evidence that the universe forgot you. It is evidence that you are being shaped, that something inside you deeper than your pain is being prepared for something greater. Do not harden your heart. Do not become what hurt you. And if you are Marcus, if you are carrying the weight of choices you are not proud of, it is not too late. The path is not closed. The moment you choose truth over comfort, compassion over ego, honesty over pride, that is the moment your karma begins to turn. The Buddha did not come to punish. He came to show us the way home. And the door to that home is always open. Namo Buddhaya. If this story moved something in, you share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you are walking a difficult path right now, subscribe, and I will walk with you.